Hello, this is MFerguson for MIS325. Let's see here. So we're doing the assignment 3. I'll just start it from the top. We'll go ahead and do the Shopify system first. Yeah, that's fine. Of course, I'm going to do that right off the bat. Alright, so anyway, got my management system here. This is the one that we did. I made a little calendar just so you can enter it a lot easier, and then I also did a state list, so you can just select the list from the drop down list. Select the state from the drop down list, just like fancy stuff to make it a little bit easier on the data entry here. So let's go ahead and just run that. I need to see the assignment 2 here. Let me check something. So yeah, looks like I'm basically just going to show you that it works. Alright, so we'll go ahead and run it. And it loads into the products category. We're going to go ahead to the customers category here. So I set it up so that the first line isn't always Alabama. You can select a state. I just made that the form, the button thing here for the data source. What was that at? No, that's not the one. That should be there. Edit my items. So yeah, my first item was just select a state. Anyway, go back to my site here. Alright, so I'm just going to create a new customer. I've just been putting in random people. We got John Candy in there. Maybe we'll just do Steve Martin. We'll say he's at 111 Hollywood Boulevard. We'll go City of Hollywood, right? And then, so I can go August, July. We'll say June. Do June 13th. And then we'll select California. See, it has all 50 states here. Alright, got California. We save the customer. Procedure outcome, customer saved. And there's proof that he was entered in here correctly. New customer, so no sales, no SKU. Nothing like that. Have data integrity. If I try to add it again, no dice. It's already entered. So everything's working there. My clear form is working there. And I believe that does it for the customer view. So go ahead and close this out. Close this solution. I know we do the, for new projects, I'll hit the start without code, but I've been working with these two recently, so I might as well use the load. Alright. Pop design over here. So guest was my first one, and I just basically copied the interface that you had presented for customers, but I just converted it over to guests. I have more parameters in my entry. I had a remarks category, but when I'm adding a new guest, there are no real remarks for that person. So I'm going to set up a stored procedure to be able to add remarks on guest checkout, and I'll make like a guest checkout button for that. So here's the button. Let's see, here's the code behind associated with it. And that is for the add guest new button here. Let me find it. Okay, so here it is. That's the button. No, that's the form clear button, sorry. Let me find my button. There we go. That's the guest add button. So it just does a few things. But ultimately, I have it connected over to my SQL account with the stored procedure, add new guest. It does all the same things. It adds these 3 values. It has the feedback section that we saw over here. And then it just executes, shows the feedback. It updates it right away once it executes the query here, and then it shows the feedback, gives you the feedback answer right here. I didn't go over this in my Shopify, I'm realizing now, but it's the same code for the most part because I use the same stored procedures that we had created for this. I just kind of revised them and updated them in a bit better. This is the information for the feedback that you actually get, procedure outcome, followed by the data bind guest view. But it gives you the guest feedback. Once it automatically updates it, tells you it's either entered or not, or exists. Let's see. And then I have an error clause in here, but that typically isn't necessary. Let's see here. So that's the clear guest form. It just clears these four boxes: the first name, last name, email, and feedback box. Okay, and so that's pretty much the VB code behind for this, and then we can go ahead and run this. All right, Coug Hotel. So here's my list, automatically generates. I made a code so I don't have to enter a remark when I'm putting in a new customer. It automatically defaults it if it's a null, and it says this, new guest, no remarks yet. So I went ahead and made it like that. I did a bunch of test entries to get that going because it wasn't working at first. So now it's working, and that's great. So let's go ahead and do somebody else. I watch a lot of shows. I had some Breaking Bad characters in here. Got Jack Bauer from 24. Who should we do next? Let's see. How about Clark Kent? Even though I didn't love the new Superman. And then we can do Clark Kent Superman. Probably has a Gmail account. We go ahead and add that new guest, the customer. The guest was successfully added. So it adds them down here. Here's proof that it was updated. It updates my table again as soon as I enter someone. There is referential integrity here. Boom. So if I click it again, I already have a guest with that name. It will not allow me to duplicate that information. And the clear form is working. So let's see. Yeah, I guess that's about it. I don't want to be too short here, but the functionality is there. I think I explained the code behind the code that I had, the code blocks that we were using for just these things right here, the new guest in that region. Let's see, is there anything else? Yeah, this is all for other stuff that I had already created, navigation buttons, and then these just load everything up on start. So I've already covered all of this stuff. I only added a bit of new code down here, well, a decent amount of VB code, but it was mainly this region, down to the end region of the new stuff that we got. So yeah, as you see, everything is working, everything is updating properly, and I believe I am good to go for now. So thank you for watching, and I will catch you on the next video.